Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our channel. And today we have some few things to touch on. Ever since the election, presidential, National Assembly, and also the governorship election, and as far as this election has come and gone, yet the dust still remains hanging in the air. So every day we hear something new, but it's like these things are naturally, set to play out in this manner, either to take our focus out of the equation, which is take our focus out of the ball, to direct it towards something else, or just merely to manipulate our resolve, to get back the mandate that we truly believe, or the majority of Nigerians believe, has been stolen or has been hijacked in the meantime because we still have, reasonable amount of hope to think that, we still have a greater chance or that the people's resolve to get their mandate back, we definitely, you know, be taken back without much struggle or without any much effort, because it's so plain to see that even the blind could see, feel, touch it. So it's except we, the people, you know, that is allow ourselves to be manipulated up to that extent, to be blindfolded and to be led into the pit. Because as we now know from all the players, it's now clearer, or it's getting much clearer by the day, that these people are keenly interested in derailing the whole process. It's either the process is for them or the process is for no one. So that is what we see here. So those old horses, are bent on doing everything within their own whims, to hang on to power, either through their subordinates or through their manipulative machineries. So, but I don't think we will give into that. So this topic is all about, political machinations, you know, and sellouts that we now know to have taken over the space of our political terrain. So they have been all over the place, circulated all over the place, and they are not hiding themselves. They are so shameless that they can parade themselves around. Just the other day, we saw what was playing out in the Labour Party, where someone was sponsored, to go into the Labour Party and derail it. Although it has been a mole, this man must have been a mole within the Labour Party itself. So, but knowing that he has no grasp, to do anything, or no, having that, knowing that he has no grasp, to be able to control anything or to steer, you know, the will of the party to any direction, then they choose to use this force. So they come up with one lie after another lie after another lie. So with each lie, they expose themselves the more. So these are the bunch of political sellouts, as we now know. So what does a political sellout really entails? A political sellout typically refers to a situation in which a politician or a political figure abandons their principles or beliefs in exchange for personal gain or political advantage. This can take many different forms, but some common examples might include so many things, but we just have to, you know, make it brief. Let's say one, for example, changing one's stance on an issue in order to win support from a particular interest group or constituency, even if that stance goes against their own previous beliefs or values. So that is what we've seen that played out, in these past few days and weeks. So, like we know some other parties that never really have any particular stance. They were neither here nor there. Some were just standing on the fence, etc. So, but what is now playing out is that the Labour Party, ever since the Labour Party came on board into the political atmosphere of Nigeria, everything changes. Everything has changed. So, and the hope of the common man, of the youth, you know, we are little, we are little, let's say, you know, empowered by the figure that was, by the figure or the personality of the man Peter Obi, who was running for the presidency or the presidential, their presidential candidate, as as the case may be. So this gave a lot of hope in so many quarters. Therefore, a lot of people who were not even willing to go into the political sphere were now encouraged to say, yes, I think we have someone who we can look up to, someone who we think can do the job better than those old hawks. Not that he has not been a politician all this while. He has been a politician, he has been a governor of a state. So with this antecedents, a lot of things were made obvious. And in fact, it made it easier for the people, for him to get that followership, that he had. So, and then all of a sudden came the obedient movement, and that changes everything, which I think is going to be replicated in so many African countries. One of these weeks and months. So it's supposed to be the African Spring. You understand? Like when they were saying the Arab Spring and things like that. This Obi winning the election is supposed to be the African Spring that we have long been expecting, but we never knew how it was going to come. But all of a sudden, here it was, in the name of obedience. So I think I really have to rebrand this title, the obedience or the African Spring and the obedience, or the obedience and the African Spring. So because that is exactly what it is. So so that was it. So now some of these people, they've lost their values and their stance simply because they want some particular token for themselves, and they lost track and directions. So that is number one. So let's say number two, maybe they're making a deal with another politician or political party that compromises their integrity or values in exchange for power or influence. Isn't it? Isn't that the case? It is. Third, accepting money or other forms of financial support from individuals or organizations that have a vested interest in a particular policy outcome, and then advocating for that outcome even if it goes against the best interest of the people or of the public at large. You don't really care about that anymore. As long as they have something to eat. So, in equal terms, you can also say a political sellout suggests that the politician in question is acting in their own self-interest rather than in the interest of their constituency or their constituents or the greater good of the people. It can be seen as a betrayal of trust and can lead to a loss of credibility and support among the populace. So that is what we now have today, because now a lot of people have lost interest in some of those people who once claimed to be obedient or who once claimed to be leaders or elders. You know, because that is why some people used to ask, why are the children of these days or the children of nowadays, why do they lack respect? Why would they have respect for people like that, no matter the age of those kind of people? Once they lack their credibility and they sold out, you know, their souls for a peanut and sell out the future of their children and children's children without thinking about any other thing, then what do you call them? And how do you regard them? Do you not regard them to be someone or people who matters or who cares about the societal values or the growth of their children and their children's children or the future generations? No. So to further these same issues, you say a political sellout can also refer to a situation in which a politician or political figure compromises on their principles or values in order to maintain their position of power or influence. This can involve making concessions or compromises on policy positions or decisions, or even making deals with other political figures or groups in order to maintain support or stability. In some cases, a political sellout may also involve engaging in unethical or illegal behavior in order to achieve personal or political gains. This can include accepting bribes or engaging in other forms of corruption or engaging in deception or manipulative corruption or engaging in deceptive or manipulative tactics in order to swap public opinion or gain an advantage in any situation. So overall, the concept of political sellout is often viewed negatively, as it implies that the politician in question is acting in a self-serving manner rather than prioritizing the needs and interests of their constituents or the public at large. So in this case, this Mr. Lasisi, who has been acting or who fit into all these categories, that we just talked about, is the case study in this issue. So that is it, because this man, from what we've seen so far, all these categories fit into his baggage that he's carrying. The other day I saw him when he went to the Labour Party's office, and he went there with his gang. I think about a week ago, he went there with some group of thugs, to try to see if they can shake, the security in there and move in there, maybe try to get some documents and stuff like that. Because what he was asked to do by the opposition was to go there and quash all the court cases that was pending. So, but what my own concern is that these people are so shameless that they don't even have shame anymore. Everyone knows what you are about to do or what you were asked to do. Everyone knows that you are not legitimately, empowered to take any position as far as that position is concerned, or take any decision that will affect that party as a whole, in whatever category. So everyone knows that Labour Party have a constitution. Everyone knows that they have their NWC, and every other organs of government and organs of party, that have the mechanism to to take any decision or take any stance on things like that. But because they are dealing with Obi as a gentleman and things like that, they now think they can use those kind of attitude to try to see if they can push him aside and stuff like that. Because what they're just trying to do is to try to cause confusion and to buy time. So that while buying time, at the end of the day, this man will be sworn in. So while be sworn in, then you have all the political layer and all the machineries of government, to dish out, either to intimidate, to arrest and bring up a trunk of charges and things like that, in order to just try to strike a deal, in one way or another. So that one apart. While this one was ongoing, then all of a sudden, a lot of things came out about this forged certificate of Tinubu himself. Why he was in the, why he said when he said that he attended Chicago University and what have you and things like that. So then later, the issue of the $460,000 confiscation of or forfeit uh, 450 and $1,000, right? Or is it million? You know, that was forfeited in the U.S. to the Chicago state. That was drug related or heroin related fund that was that they forfeited to them. So while this thing was in the news, all of a sudden, then they came up with another thing, which was that Obi was detained or arrested in at Heathrow, detained and arrested, and again released at the same time. So what that means is aspersion. Like I said in my last video, it tried to cast aspersion on the minds of the people. You understand? So because if actually, like they said, that someone was impersonating him and things like that, like they said took place, then I don't think they will have just let him out so easily like that. If someone was actually impersonating him, then they should at least check who that person actually is, because from what we now know is that that same person was also issued a Nigerian passport, by the Nigerian government. So if that's the truth, then the Nigerian government will have a case to answer, because here the spokesman of the Presidential Campaign Council of Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, Mr. Daniel Boala, has charged the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, to sue President Muhammad Buhari-led government over his detention in the UK. He said he recalled that the immigration a few days ago detained Obi at Heathrow Airport in London over a case of duplicated identity. So he said the Obi Dati Media Office said Obi was detained after being accosted by an immigration officer who handed him a detention note and told him to step aside. But this Bola in a post on his Twitter, he said call on Obi to compel the federal government to smoke out whoever was using him for his smear campaign. So isn't that clear now? What this man is trying to say here, that if actually that this man was issued a Nigerian passport with Peter Obi's name, therefore this man have a face. This man must have a fingerprint, right? Because you can't go to Nigerian embassy without fingerprinting your passport. So and definitely you can without having your face snapped right at the embassy. So this gone are the days when you used to send passport photographs, for your passport photos. You now go in there and they snap your photos, or pictures, for you to have your passport taken. You have to be there in person. So definitely that we need the face of that person, who has been this impersonator, if actually that this person even exists. Except that maybe somebody is just using maybe it's informations, somewhere in UK there to either do some of those bad things and stuff like that, etc. etc. And if that is the case also, then there are ways also to also find it out, So that's what this guy was just trying to say here. So he noted that the immigration has the data and details of the personator of the, of the Labour Party's candidate, Peter Obi. So I agree with this man clearly and squarely. So I think the federal government should know better who this man is and what he represents and what is out there or what he's trying to achieve, by this whole thing that he has been said to be involving. You know, so all these sellouts, who are trying to play the game of the losers or the actual losers, who are now claiming to be the winners. So this man must be playing. He's not playing it for nothing. I know it's an old man, old man with greed. Old man with greed is a disease to his own generation, and that generation has already, disappointed Nigerians and Africans at large. So we know who they are. So what they are trying to entrench is to entrench that old order and make sure that old orders continue to do what they do by impoverishing the people and the country at large. And that is what we are out to stop. So, ladies and gentlemen, this time is not. There's no losing. There's no dulling, no slacking. So we have to finish what we started, and we have to finish strong. That's my point. So the point of this message is that this old political harlots and sellouts has to be phased out for Nigeria to move forward. So in order for Nigeria to move forward, we now have to channel all our energies as well toward this old harlots, political harlots, and political sellouts, and political ancestors. So that is the point I'm trying to make here. So they should be sent out. They should be sent away. They should leave. They should leave the stage because they've done their bit to destroy that country over the years. I don't think there's anything that they are going to contribute now that we actually need because they've already done their worst over time, divided the country into pieces religiously, ethnic wise, and what have you. So I think the damage has to be fixed now before it's too late. So, ladies and gentlemen, brace up. Listen your boots, and put your angles on, and get ready for a bossy match. This time to face out these political sellouts and harlots, whether old or new, whether ancestors or whatever that they seem to represent. So they should go and leave the stage for the use so that we can have that space to build that future that we deserve, that better life that we deserve. That's all we need. We don't need their intrusion anymore into our affairs. So, like I said before, this obedient movement should not be seen as a new African spring. So that's how I see it. So the African spring will not be allowed to die because Nigeria is only just the beginning. It's going to resonate all over Africa. And Africa will be free for good from colonialism and what have you, and from internal colonialism as well, and external colonialism. That's the point here. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming by. So please, if you've not subscribed before to this channel, please do so. Subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up and help us to share these videos. Let the video go viral. Let it go viral. Let everyone see this video and drop us a comment. I will be glad to get back to you. Thank you and God bless. See you soon. Bye.